Welcome to part 3 of the guide to simple moving average. This one explains or tries to explain how to analyse the results. In part 1 it covers an introduction and an explanation of what a moving average is. Part 2 gives a worked example, data and graphs. Part 4 will go into more details on the analysis of the results. So, well, to recap, you can see the slide, and if you need information, please see part 1 on our moving averages. So we've got the same terminology as before: rate of change, 7-day or 7MA, 7-day moving average, 14MA. We've introduced a new one, which is a whipsaw. And a whipsaw is when there's a volatile change which occurs in the market and creates some unexpected fluctuations. Always be aware of them. I'll talk more about them in part 4. Okay, here's our data. It's the same as the data that was in part 2 and part 3. Hopefully you've already got this data written down, so I won't spend too much time on it on this occasion. I'll leave it up there just for a little while in case you haven't seen part 2, part 3. Okay, so how do we analyse the graphs that we produced in part 2? The ROC, or rate of change slide, it shows the trend is very, very volatile. It's literally sample by sample data with no analysis and no processing. So if you now look at the 7-day MA, it adds a dampening, which is the accountant's term, or for many amateur investors, they like the word smoothing effect, to show a trend. When they are combined, it lets you see what's happening with the up to the minute data that you have and the process data, and you can see how the lines cross. Now to get that gives you quite a bit of information. And now combine it with the 7 and 14. So you've got an ROC with a 7-day smooth and a 14-day smooth. That longer sample shows much, much more of a trend. The MA is one of the best indicators that, from all my reading, I've come across. It needs to be used and combined with a rate of change. What is very important is the cross or changeover between the MA and the rate of change. Now remember, at MA, it's a smoothed average. The more times an MA and a rate of change, or ROC, touches, it acts as a support or resistance, as it's known in the financial market. And so if it's violated, that's more significant. If the MA and the ROC basically touch each other and bounce along each other, that shows strength in the ROC. When it's violated, if it's had many touches along its way, that is definitely something that should be looked at. An MA should reflect underlying trends, and its violation shows the change. If an MA is flat, the trend has changed before the MA has shown it to be flat. So go back and look at the previous few samples of the ROC. When a violation occurs, when an MA is progressing in a direction of a prevailing trend, this should be treating as a warning of a trend reversal has probably already taken place but it's certainly a warning that one is happening. So you need to go back to the ROC and analyse your ROC numbers. Okay, the longer the time span of the MA, the greater the significance of the change. That's always true because it is an average, and so it takes into account many samples of data. Reversals of an MA, it's often more reliable than an MA crossover. So if a change in direction occurs when the market is at a turning point, it's a reliable and powerful signal being given. In most circumstances, an MA after a new trend begins, but you need to begin the time sample used. An MA can only be used as a confirmation. An MA is not a prediction. Please keep that in mind. That's very important. Okay, finally, investing and playing in the markets is a lot of fun and can be very rewarding. But always remember, stocks and shares, they do go up and down. Never risk more than you can afford to lose. In the following clips, I'll introduce some other techniques used by the professionals to help try to bring sense to what may appear to be chaos. If you have any questions or would like a topic covered, please contact me by email at pmfmrk@protectmyfriend.co.uk. We're soon to launch a website which will provide downloads, and we may be doing some seminars soon. You can find dates and details at www.protectmyfriend.co.uk. I look forward to meeting you and happy investing.